What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back, and as I'm browsing through the Bay Area news outlet Cron 4, just a typical local news, it's completely fake news propaganda, but I grew up on it nonetheless before I knew what was going on. And the fentanyl problem, the drug problem in the Bay Area, or probably California as a whole, has gotten so bad that they have created an entire section. So on their homepage, they have a link to an entire section of fentanyl-related stories called Focus on Fentanyl. And these are all just from a week or so ago, not even 3, 4, 5 days ago. Trank confirmed in 4 San Francisco overdose deaths. San Francisco rethinking, quote, sanctuary city policies amid fentanyl crisis. Man gets prison for selling fentanyl that killed girl. 23 pounds of fentanyl recovered in Oakland bus. San Mateo County hands out Narcan toolkits to schools. Fentanyl plague San Francisco bracing for new street drugs. And these are just the top focus on fentanyl headlines. There's more than that. But that's how bad it's gotten. They can't get control of this. Well, they're not really trying to. They're pretending they're trying to. But like I always say, you are best for the political establishment when you're almost dead. Not quite there, right? Like, they don't want you healthy and virile and questioning what they're doing. And they don't want you dead because then they can't use you as a wedge to, ask for more funding and start new programs that they're going to siphon through and give money to all their bureaucratic friends. But I digress. Let's take a look at some of these, right? 23 pounds of fentanyl and 2,516 pills recovered in Oakland bust. Where is this stuff coming from, right? Some people say it's, a deal between China and Mexican cartels. I don't know how it's just being airdropped, or people making it in laboratories in California. Who knows? Maybe they'll tell us. The Alameda County Sheriff's Office recovered a large haul of drugs at a residence in Oakland, it said in a Facebook post on Thursday. In total, authorities found 23 pounds of powdered fentanyl, 2,516 counterfeit M30 fentanyl pills. Counterfeit? Well, I thought fentanyl was the counterfeit of H, and now they're counterfeiting the counterfeit? I don't know. 168 grams of meth, 9.7 grams of cocaine, and 4 guns. ASCO did not disclose where in Oakland the residence was located. The sheriffs also found, quote, clear evidence of manufacturing. Okay, so they were making it there. That makes sense because, we see it coming through the border all the time, but they're making it. It's homegrown as well. A picture of the recovered drugs and guns below. Look at that. All right. So in Gilroy, 3 people were found dead of suspected fentanyl overdose in a home on Monday. A 4th was revived by responding deputies and hospitalized. So 23 pounds? That must be enough for the entire state, bro. I don't know. I'm not going to do the math there, but that is a lot in Oakland. And then we have San Mateo County hands out Narcan toolkits to schools. So Narcan is not really for fentanyl as I understand it, but people are thinking they're getting one thing and they're getting fentanyl instead, which I don't really understand that either, because if those customers are dying off from overdose, then you're killing your own customer, but who knows? I guess in that realm of, being a dope fiend, when somebody dies, you almost want it more. Like, wow, I can handle it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, that's fire. Let me try it. Many schools within San Mateo County are not just talking about the dangers of drugs to their students. They're doing something about it. Oh, it's so great. They're not trying to get the drugs off the streets. They're just going to give you Narcan, which, of course, is another, establishment scam to get more money. It's free, but somebody cut deals somewhere. Nobody created this Narcan out of the kindness of their heart and just gave it to the state government free of charge. No, somebody's getting a kickback from this somewhere. It's not just, they're doing something about it. They're so good. The schools are getting toolkits with the drug Narcan, which will be on campus in case any student is seen overdosing from opioids like fentanyl. Fentanyl overdose has exploded across the country and considered by many as an epidemic. Narcan will block the opioid. So just more Narcan propaganda of how great it is, and they're just doing their best to save you, even though I believe it was Savannah Hernandez who talked to, I guess, a recovering addict or somebody in San Francisco, and they went to one of these like free needle exchange spots, and they give you all the paraphernalia to use drugs. But when the guy asks, well, I really want to kick the habit, can you give me to a center that will help me, like an NA meeting? And they're like, oh, we don't know anything about that. But here's a box of needles and some rubber bands for you to tie off or whatever with, and then we'll give you a fentanyl test strip, right? Because they don't want you to actually get off of it, obviously. San Francisco rethinking, quote, sanctuary city policies amid fentanyl crisis. So it just continues. Now, the other story said that they were manufacturing it right in Oakland, so that's not going to stop that particular case of it. But London Breed, the mayor of San Francisco, of course, at one point called out, I guess, the Honduran migrant population who was basically running the drug trade, and they got mad at her, calling it racist, even though she's a black woman. I mean, as we know, the bottom line, always, I say this 100 times a day, is just to obey. It's never really about race. It's never really about sexuality. It's never really about oppression. It's never really about the environment. It's all about making sure that you do exactly what you're told, do the drugs, test it for fentanyl, eat the bugs, don't drive a car, all that stuff. It's all the same. It's literally all the same. And that's why every single thing that they pitch to you is always life and death. You're going to kill the planet if you drive a truck. You're going to kill grandma if you don't get a mask. You're going to kill your grandpa if you don't get the shot. A kid's going to self-harm if you don't let him chop his junk off. It's always life and death. All of the issues that they talk about are one thing, and that's just control, obey. It's obvious. I don't even know. I'm preaching to the choir here. Everybody knows that. But San Francisco is rethinking its sanctuary city status as fentanyl continues to kill a staggering number of overdose victims. Investigators believe that a significant percentage of people selling drugs in San Francisco, as many as half, are undocumented immigrants. And there you go. I'm surprised they even reported this. I'm surprised. Like, of course, this is fancy language, right? This is doublespeak, undocumented immigrants. It's illegal aliens. You can't even say that. You can pinpoint the problem, even though you know exactly what's happening. But that's because, of course, they don't want to actually stop the problem. It's time to withdraw the protection of sanctuary from undocumented immigrants. Again, illegal people doing illegal things, trafficking fentanyl on our streets, Supervisor Matt Dorsey said. Dorsey is proposing legislation to change San Francisco's sanctuary city policy to exclude undocumented immigrants who are arrested for dealing the powerful opioids. So, again, undocumented, happy speak, but you can do it. You can be there illegally. We're not going to stop you. You just can't sell drugs, the powerful opioid. You could sell weed, probably. You could probably sell coke, but you just can't sell fentanyl if you're illegal immigrant. I mean, could you be any more lenient about the entire thing? The legislation would deny sanctuary to adults who have been convicted of fentanyl dealing felony within the past 7 years and rearrested for another fentanyl. Okay, so it's just fentanyl. That's crazy. They're basically telling you can deal other drugs. You can commit other crimes. You could do smash and grabs. You could do car break-ins. You could do robberies, but you just can't deal fentanyl, okay? The change would allow local law enforcement officials to honor civil immigration detainers from federal authorities for possible deportation. Okay, so if you're caught selling fentanyl, we might think about doing something about it. Dorsey's office wrote, with just 2 milligrams of fentanyl estimated to be a lethal overdose for most people, San Francisco Police Department drug seizure haul from street-level dealers in 2022 represents enough fentanyl to kill every adult in California, right? Like I said, the entire state. 23 pounds, was it? Yeah, 23 pounds. This is crazy. Our community is under attack from this illicit drug, and something has to be done on all sides of the table. Okay, well, that's political platitudes. Nothing's going to happen. Of course, the drugs are going to continue to be sold, and they're going to cut more backdoor deals to get more fentanyl testing strips and Narcan in schools. This is an older one from November 2022. Baby playing in San Francisco Park suffers fentanyl overdose, father says. And look, who knows? Who knows if this is really true, exactly what happened. But the fact that we can even have this story even remotely be possible is one of the darkest things you'd ever want to see. And there was also another story, I believe, of dogs overdosing or dogs getting high, when they eat stuff on the ground and there's like little tiny bits of fentanyl. So this is crazy. Whether it's true or not, the fact that it's stranger than fiction, right? Like, some of this stuff is beyond parody. Like, even with the gender stuff, right? Like, oh, the trans activist tried to cancel, and I get this is a little bit off topic, but it's the same thing to where everything's become so extreme that you don't know what's real and fake anymore, and that's a huge problem, right? So if the trans activists want to cancel Natural Woman, and then they come out and say, well, that account was actually parody, which has since come out that wasn't a parody account. They claimed it was a parody account after they were canceled for trying to cancel Natural Woman. It's all a complete headache. The point is, when everything is so extreme and so crazy, there's the line between reality and parody is completely blurred. We're not in a good spot. You can't even make a joke anymore. And here's the last one, right? Fentanyl-plagued San Francisco bracing for new street drugs. And this is where we talk about Trank, I believe. As San Francisco public health officials, the experts, struggle to stem the tide of fentanyl, a new wave of deadly synthetic opioids is flooding into the streets, into street drug scenes on the East Coast and Midwest. New drugs, including Trank and ISO, are infiltrating illegal drug markets. So the drug markets are already illegal, and there's a worse drug infiltrating the illegal market. And this guy, Dorsey, is here again. Supervisor Matt Dorsey sent a letter to Chief Medical Examiner's Office on Tuesday seeking to ensure public health officers are prepared to monitor and track newly emerging drugs. And then a quick Google search for Trank news. Xylene may worsen California overdose crisis. And let's keep in mind that there were far more overdose deaths than Rona deaths. So at least they're finally starting to address this a little bit, but it's all fake. They're not going to do anything about it. They're going to still come out and tell you, well, you should probably wear a mask like Eric Adams. You know what I mean? Who knows? They're never going to really address the problem. I don't even know how they continue to get away with this, because it's not everywhere, right? And look, immediately you want to blame Democrats or blame Republicans or whatever it is, but I think it's definitely bigger than that. Most people realize it's bigger than that by now, but San Francisco and New York, of course, I don't know if there's any coming back. Like I said in a previous video, if they were to do everything right today, it's a 10-year cleanup, a full decade cleanup before things even look remotely like they did in, the Obama era, and that's saying a lot. But that'll do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay clean, stay off the Trank, stay off the fentanyl. Please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe.